Assassin's Creed Mirage. You actually started this game this week. I know.
Yeah, I did.
I know you've barely played it, but you have touched it at least, which is
very, very barely played. Like where I left off was where. So there's obviously like a short little prologue, and then there's a small little time jump forward. I think it's like 6 months. Or is it 2 years? I can't recall.
No, it's pretty short. Very cool.
Yeah, I think it's 6 months. So I'm there where the time jump happens, and now I'm, I've always been playing as Basim, but now I'm with Basim and God, I can't remember the assassin, Rashan. Yeah, and she's like teaching me stuff, and I still can't do a leap of faith properly. I do like a little.
Oh, so you still at the Hidden Ones camp?
Yep.
Oh my God!
Like I said, very early.
You mentioned something about seeing the intro with. You thought there was going to be James Bond music. You ain't seen nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it was. He was Basim was escaping from Baghdad. He jumped into the water, and as he's like sinking down the water, and there's little bubbles, and it's just like Ubisoft presents. And I was like, whoa!
You're like, what?
Yeah, this is some James Bond shit. This reminds me so much of the intro to Skyfall. It was so similar. It was someone watched Skyfall while they had to edit that, and they're like, "I got you."
This is what I'll say to you: is that you haven't even seen the splash screen. I'm telling you, you've seen the pre splash screen.
It is weird though that it says that Ubisoft presents and then nothing else, and then it's like, cool, now you're playing again. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so you haven't actually gone back to Baghdad, okay, but you've touched Assassin's Creed, and so give me your immediate thoughts. Opening hour
about everything. Of the opening hour, I think. The characters haven't grabbed me yet. I just don't. I feel like the prologue was very, very rushed to set up like conflict between certain characters. So you start off with a companion who's very much your companion. You go on 1 or 2 missions, and next thing you never want to see that companion in your life again. And I was like, wow, that escalated fast. And the reasoning for that seemed very, very silly. So yeah, there's a nice premise set up for, I think, the wider story, like what's going on. And again, it's down to like ancient Adam and Eve tech bullshit, which is always fun in Assassin's Creed. But it is, I mean, from the get-go, it feels very much like the old Assassin's Creed games. The traversal, for better or worse, feels like the old ones. Like it's what I remember, and I'm like, yes, this feels familiar. And then when I want to traverse downwards on something, I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. I fucking remember why they changed this. This is also why I don't understand. There've been a lot of arguments as to why Mirage didn't use the parkour system from Assassin's Creed Unity, which I'm also like wondering the same, because that one
Unity or
felt like the
Valhalla?
Unity.
Oh, specifically
from Unity.
Okay.
Yeah, Unity like had a sense of the old one where you still held a button to parkour, but it changed it where like if you held, I think, X, you parkoured upwards, and if you held circle you parkoured downwards. So like you could change direction mid thing, and like in that one, what was his name? I forgot his name.
Wasn't it Arno?
Oh no, that's it. I wanted to say Antoine.
I haven't even played the game.
Oh no, nailed it. So you could like get up to the top of a roof, carry on running, and then when you got to the edge of a building, just hold circle, and he would like very neatly parkour downwards. Here, this reminds me of the older ones where you just like you get to the edge of the building and your character just turns around and hangs onto the ledge. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake! Like, come on.
It's
so bit of nonsense there, but it still feels good. I think it's still. Like running around Baghdad was pretty cool, and Baghdad seems like a cool city to explore. And the stealth definitely feels refined. It's worlds.
They've leaned into it much.
And it's way more involved than even previous Assassin's Creed games. I feel so, and I think that will just get more and more pronounced as like I get to play with more tools and learn more mechanics, because I guess now as Basim is learning to be an assassin, he'll learn like social stealth and stuff like that. So yeah, wow, that almost looked like a vape cloud coming from behind you. I don't know, it was like a shadow. It was very strange in video.
It was Lenska opening the door.
So not the blinds.
The sun rises in our room, so the moment the doors open, the sun just like streams through. You're going to see it again right now. Vape cloud.
Yeah, it does on the video. It's so weird.
No, so yeah, sorry, as you were.
Yeah, no, that's basically all I got from pretty much the first hour. Okay. Also, the game, this is a strange criticism because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if the game's really fun, but like, it doesn't look that good, or at least okay. The city looks good. The characters look weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm there with you. Where it's almost like, was this an intentional choice? Like,
yeah, it just.
I don't. Also,
the characters look out of place.
Yeah,
the city is nice. The city is nice and dense and like very colorful, and I quite like it. But yeah, the characters look very, very strange. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. Big fan of the cats though.
Oh, cats are the best. But unlike you, I've actually rolled credits on Assassin's Creed Mirage. Real gamer. Unlike you. And yeah, I mean, if you want a more in-depth discussion on the game, I would advise going back to either last week's episode or the specific review in progress episode we did, because I'm not going to get into the weeds, but I will just add to what I've said before that. I did really like the game. I think it's not without its faults. I think as I got towards the end and I had all my tools, then it was, I could just go in guns blazing. Like
you felt powerful.
Yeah, it's funny because like, look, you don't even need to be that far in the game. I think just the more I played, the more I realized how the tools worked, and like the actual mechanics of the game, how I could abuse them, for lack of a better description of, 3 guards come at me, they do an attack, I counter, I kill them instantly. Whereas when I first started the game, I was like, oh my God, there's 4 guards. Like, I need to run away. I don't know how to deal with this. By the end, it's like, I know the counter timing. So deflect, kill that guard. Oh no, there's 3 left. Drop a smoke bomb. I can stealth kill all 3 of them. Like, it just...
Nice.
Yeah, so like it is this funny power balance. But I think when you start the game, and not to say that you can't just... If you want to play the game stealthily, by all means do it. But you don't have to. Like, I think you do get enough tools that you can just completely... be a badass assassin that just murders everything.
Do you think it's like in line with his kind of journey to where he is in Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Because I mean, I never finished Valhalla, but I know that what that story does with Basim and what like sort of abilities it gives him is kind of wild.
Well, by the end of it, so this is a prequel, right? Like by the end of it, there is that little link of like, oh, here's how you can see this story linking to Valhalla.
Okay.
But I don't think in terms of actual narrative at any point is he going like, wow, I'm an incredible assassin. It's just you play the game, he's busy finding people from the order, taking them down, and then just through my unlocking skills, whatever, I just became a badass assassin with all my tools, whatever. I did enjoy the game overall though. Like my overall playtime was 18 hours. I did a handful of side quests.
Not too bad, yeah.
Otherwise I mainlined most of it. I mean, I feel that's a good sweet spot for me. Like I could do 20, 25 hours, but as I mentioned before, Valhalla being 60 hours is just way too long. Like that, it almost became a chore for me to finish. As fun as it was, it's like, I just want to see the end of the story. Oh my God, like, can I get there? And then 60 hours later, it's like, okay, this is very long. 18 hours is way more palatable. And I feel that it ticked a lot of boxes. I got my good fill of sneaking around and assassinations. And however, that said, like I said in my review in progress, like there's a distinct lack of the role-playing side of the game, for better or for worse. So you'll either appreciate that you don't have to worry about grinding levels or, having level restrictions. Like, oh no, that enemy's level 40 and I'm only 20. I guess I have to come back later. You can go anywhere in this game. You can tick off any quest in any order you want, and that's really cool. I enjoyed that. It might not be for everyone. But overall, I think like the sentiments I've seen, people seem to think it's like a weaker Assassin's Creed game. So I don't know. Like,
I think critically, yes. It seems commercially the game is doing super well.
I have no doubts about that. I mean, it's the Assassin's Creed franchise has a weight to it. Like, no doubt, it's beloved by many. I just don't know what their next move is now. Like, I'm very curious to see what is the next Assassin's Creed. I mean, I know they've got the mobile game.
And they've announced the 2 RPG ones. So the one set in Japan.
Ghost of Tsushima,
I think it's called Assassin's Creed Red. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
2, yes. And then the one set in like I don't know if it's like medieval, but it's set in like Germany or something like that. Okay. It's like I think in the 15 or 1600s in like Germany. It's like got the sort of pitch for it is like it's going to be a spooky Assassin's Creed. So whatever the fuck that means.
No, I have no idea what to do with that information.
Yeah, and those 2 are very much apparently RPG ones. Okay. You know, that are going to be part of Assassin's Creed Infinite, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it's called. That's going to be that platform where they just add new experiences.
Platform, whatever it is.
Yeah, like what Call of Duty is doing, essentially.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, I think last week, like I definitely think Mirage was an experiment to see if they could make these smaller games and intersperse the much larger ones with these smaller ones. And I think they're gonna keep doing that in the same way that a lot of studios have found that there was a good article about this the other day. I can't remember where, if it was on IGN, or about how the sort of standalone expansion has become a viable way to stopgap sequels. So if you look at games like Lost Legacy, that's a good example of like a much smaller Uncharted experience, but still an experience that people can enjoy while they work on the next big thing. And I think Assassin's Creed with Mirage is going to go that sort of route.
I wanted to ask, is Mirage a full price game?
No.
Okay.
I think it's $50 as opposed to $70.
Okay, but that's fair to me. I mean, look, even for $70 for an 18 to 25 hour game, I mean, we're not going to get into this discussion versus value and money, but like, given that it's shorter than the others and it's not a full price game, like I think that's very fair.
I think that's a corner Ubisoft puts itself in. Really, it's like, how can you justify $70 for a game that you yourself are saying is a shorter experience, and then expect people to be okay with that when you've got RPGs that are 100. Like that's like, I agree with you. I don't think game length should be equated to value. But when you are the same company putting out 2 very different experiences for the same price under the same sort of franchise, it's like, well, you can't escape that argument. It's very difficult. For sure. So, but $50, which I think is fine. But I agree with you. Like, if this was full priced, this is what full price games were, and you know. Not so long ago. So
go back to the original Assassin's Creed. I mean, that was
including its price. Yay.
My God. But I just my closing thoughts. I enjoyed the game. It's I think by the end, having all the tools and just being able to walk into a camp and do whatever the hell I wanted was quite fun. But again, that said, like, that's my choice. If you want to play a sneaky Assassin's Creed, like they've nailed it. It's definitely a callback to the original games, where missions are set up that there's lots of ways to tackle them. It's not just a linear get in, do your thing, whatever. So I'm very curious to see how the next games turn out. Look at me. Hey?
Yeah, me too.
I've played 2 Assassin's Creed games now.
Catching up to me now. Catching up to me. Amazing.
Good grief.
Love to see it.